Stakeholders in the Nigerian Tobacco Control Alliance (NTCA) have called on the federal government to immediately prioritize tobacco control funding in Nigeria. Board chairman of the alliance, Akimbode Oluwafemi, at a one-day capacity building workshop on tobacco control budget advocacy this Monday in Abuja, says despite legislations and heightened discussions on tobacco control in Nigeria over the years, there continues to be little improvement in budgetary allocations needed for sustaining tobacco control efforts in the country. Clearview's Gloria Ta was there at the workshop and now brings us details.
Seated in this hall are stakeholders from various civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations, ministries, departments and agencies involved in tobacco control in Nigeria. They have converged for this one-day capacity building workshop on effective budgeting and funding for tobacco control in Nigeria to brainstorm and map out strategies towards effective budgeting and funding of tobacco control for the good of all Nigerians. Speaking at the event, the board chairman, Nigeria Tobacco Control Alliance, Akimbode Oluwafemi, said despite the signing of the National Tobacco Control Act 2015 and the Tobacco Control Regulations 2019, the issue of funding for tobacco control has remained on the front burner for years, and this has in turn frustrated efforts in curbing the number of deaths and diseases associated with tobacco smoking and use in the country.
So Nigeria has a national tobacco control law. We also have the regulation, and quite a number of programs are expected of government to be able to implement, those laws effectively, and we realize that those funds to carry out those activities and programs are not there. The budget for tobacco control in Nigeria is abysmally low, and we think that the government needs to increase budget for tobacco control. We are excited by the fact that the current government had said they're going to increase funding and budgetary allocation to the Federal Ministry of Health. But we specifically are drawing attention to the need that those two laws need to be enforced. We're also using this opportunity to also look at how government can widen the net to get more funds in terms of looking at the regulation, looking at the fees for licensing, that in itself does not meet international standard, where tobacco manufacturers are to get license for a mere 10 million over 4 years. Those kind of licensing are done per products, and that government can look at all that. We're not particularly happy that the expected increase in taxation on tobacco products was suspended by the previous administration. We are urging this current government to take a look at that and see how that can be corrected in the next fiscal year. Essentially, to begin to see a government that can independently fund some of the tobacco control activities that are in the law and in the regulation.
Other stakeholders at the event say proper budgeting processes, innovative funding, and a strong political will from the government will help form effective tools needed in carrying out advocacy for tobacco control in Nigeria.
Government can come up with a 5-year plan. So within the 5-year plan, it is expected that each fiscal year will derive its own funding from that plan. So these are some of the ways that budgeting can be done.
We don't just stumble into advocacy. You don't just say because you like an idea, you just start talking about it. You must plan the process. You must plan what you want to achieve, how you are going to achieve it. And you must be ready to go the long haul, because it is not going to be a sprint. Advocacy is never a sprint.
So please, in our corners, let us make this issue of tobacco control funding, make it to be a priority. One of the things that we always bring to the knowledge of governments.
The The tobacco epidemic remains one of the biggest public health threats the world has ever faced, killing more than 8 million people a year around the world and 28,000 annual deaths in Nigeria. Gloria Atta, reporting for Clearview News.